Oh, the clock has started. Yeah, and welcome, my friends, to yet another episode of the Mindidog TV digital broadcast. I'm Matt Napo. Thanks for coming. It's great to have you here, as always. We're going to talk about leadership tonight. And if you're like me, you're probably saying, why? Why? I am burnt out, folks. And my guest tonight is a leadership coach at a time when I feel like, I'm projecting a little bit here, but I feel like the entire world is feeling like, I'm just burnt out. I'm just burnt out. I feel overwhelmed, powerless, and just riding the wave through life. And so it should be an interesting challenge for her to get me out of this mindset and feeling a little more pumped about life. Because right now I am not feeling it. Rachel L. Gary, and the L is for leadership. I don't really know that to be true. Is passionate about empowering individuals to unlock their true potential by cultivating transformative and positive habits to help them grow and build a successful lifestyle. Her mission is to guide you on a journey of self-development, helping you to align your passion and purpose. And she's here now. I think she pulled over on her way home from a radio show.
Hello, Ed. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Let me pull up the URL because I want people. That's where the book can be found. Forged in Fire, from Ashes to Empowerment. And I would try to go to RachelLGary.com, and it was down, so I didn't want to put that up. Anyway, thank you.
Yeah. It's sayimpossible.com. So every all the books I have, all the courses I have is at www.sayimpossible.com. You guys can catch me there.
All right, very cool. Now, leadership, and my biggest question, I've been in leadership positions my whole life. Most of the time I got put in leadership positions, didn't seek it out. And I got burnt out every single time. I just hated it. I hated being a leader. Does everybody have to be a leader?
So you know what, Matt, the funny part is that is exactly what I talk about in my coaching about I was a leader very similar to you who was put into roles because I was the best worker they had. Right. I was the best worker they had. They promoted me into those positions because they saw something in me, but didn't cultivate that something in me. Yep. And that's how we become burned out as leaders, because we don't get the training and development to really lead. We're put in positions to manage processes. We're managing people, but we're not learning to lead ourselves. So that's what I mean by leadership, leading ourselves, not actually leading a company, because if you lead you successfully, then you can lead others. And I think that's probably, I've been there, Matt. Lord knows I've been there. 25 years in leadership. So
I can relate. That's exactly the process. They see that you're outperforming maybe some of your team members, and they promote you through the ranks, but never really prepare you for all the stresses and all the responsibilities of being responsible for other people's performance and their entire careers. So I hate it.
Exactly. Yeah, no, you know what, man, as I said, I can't say that I hate it, because I'm going to tell you what I did. I leaned into me. When I started, because I was burned out. I'll tell you, I was working a couple of jobs where I worked 20-hour days because the company hadn't structured the processes correctly. They hadn't structured team members correctly. And all of that falls on the person who has to take care of it. So, Matt, I get you. Believe me, I've been there. Yeah. I'm not speaking from things that I believe happened. I was there. I was there when I was asleep on my desk, and one of my team members paid for an Uber home because they didn't want me to drive because I hadn't had any sleep.
Wow.
So I get the burnout. But when I started really, really, really diving into why I was so burned out, that's what I talk about. I talk about the why I was burned out. So it goes to the setting the clear boundaries and making sure I got the help and support I needed for self, so I could be the person that they were putting in the roles they put me in.
Yeah. So does it start with drawing boundaries? And if See, what it sounded like, and this is what the talk I always got was, you have to learn to draw personal boundaries. But if I did that, the job didn't get done. And if I just worked 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day instead of 20 hours a day, things would fall apart. And so, I couldn't let that happen, because that's also on me. Right. So just drawing boundaries is not enough. You have to get agreement on it from the owner, or the money behind the business first. Right.
Yep. So I agree with you there as well. Matt, you speaking. Hey, I'm a choir member inside of your church right now. I'm about to sing and do a clap with you, because I believe what you're saying. But this is what I did. This is a true story, true life, and this is how I did it. What I did in those roles, I'll just pick a role where I was burned out. I went home and decided, what was it that I wasn't giving my people? What did I do? Because I usually in my lead, I started my leadership role. I was a lead, then a supervisor, then a senior supervisor, then a manager, RVP, all those things. So as I was moving up those ranks, I realized that the harder I worked, the better the company was getting, but the worse I was getting. So I had to start getting the buy-in from the team. And they don't teach you that. You don't get lessons when you get in these companies on how to get to other people to really want to work with you towards a goal.
Oh,
so I did something that people frown upon, but I had to do it for me. I paid for a course. I swiped my credit card for $350 and got in some leadership training. I got into training to learn how to delegate and how to structure my life so I could be able to help them structure theirs. And when I took the approach of being the best version of me and not trying to make them into who I needed them to be, but who did I need to be able to coach, develop, train, and help other people find success in their lives.
Yeah.
That is what I had to learn to do. So Absolutely. What I did was I learned to do that. I learned to be, okay, if I had team members that weren't in those positions, because Matt, like I know, that you have to give some power, we'll say, over to somebody who don't got the title yet.
Yeah.
And you have to empower them and have other people understand that they're empowered to do X, Y, and Z, which means you got to get a lot of buy-in. When you're in your leadership, this is your whole life. Buy in, making deals under the table, buying lunches and all that stuff to get everyone to comply with one mission. But I started getting them involved with the mission. I said, okay, things are failing. If you think something is failing, come talk to me. That's what I did. If something is failing, my first week, I had a lousy week. I got to tell you, that first week, I had a lousy week. Everybody's in my office. Well, she did, he did, they did, she did. Okay. I took all the notes. Then I had a meeting with the leads first. Okay, guys, these are all the complaints. What can we do? Well, we can do this. We can do that. We can do this. I said, okay, these are the ground rules. I gave ground rules. Ground rules. We have to be something we can implement, something we can get the team to implement, and something that doesn't have to cost us more money today. Those are the rules. So we went through it. They went through all of the things. By the end of that, we had a list of 20 things that they felt was really going to make a difference. We had different iterations of, she don't know what she doing. He don't know what he doing. No one trained him. There's no real training documents. All of that. You've heard it like I've heard it. So what I did was I said, okay, I took all of those. I said, so this is what we do. I went to leadership team. I said, we are failing here, here, and here. But these are my solutions to make it where failure rates drop by 50% over the next 60 days if you give us assistance in here, here, and here. I need to create a team to get processes documented. I need to get those people trained on doing their jobs. You want the job done or you don't. I was very strategic about how I went, but I went with the problem. We had cross shipping. We had this, we had that. Those were costing the company money. I gave them solutions that weren't going to cost them anything, but we needed time to implement.
All right.
And go ahead.
I'm looking at you and listening to you, and your passion is definitely very
Yes.
evident. Your passion and energy, is that a requirement to be in a leadership position? Do you have to maintain this energy that you're bringing right now and this passion that you bring right now all day long, every day?
I say this, as a leader of your life, you must bring the passion and energy to you. It's not about the teams. I pour into myself. I listen to, this is just honest, guys. I listen to radio 1 day a week. I listen to TV 1 day a week. I listen to positive podcasts. I read positive books, and I keep positive. I pour so much positivity into me that I'm always ready for when something comes my way.
Wow.
It, it,
Does that
go ahead, man.
when and in times of adversity, when things go wrong, how do you maintain that?
There's so much positive. There's only two things I do. I respond, not react.
Okay.
Because when you respond, you're coming up with solutions, and you're thinking. So I give myself space to think. And I know that you'll say it's hard. It is, but that goes to when you put the boundary in. That's the boundary.
Yeah, there's a couple of things.
Emergencies. Go ahead. Please.
Well, about this making good decisions, because that's what you're talking about, and
Yes.
give yourself room and time to think.
Yes.
That's the one thing that, because I look back at every bad time in my life was the result of a bad decision. But nobody ever teaches you the mechanisms of how to make a good decision, what goes into making proper decisions. Of course, being well informed, and you talked about that, and investing in yourself and getting more education. But beyond that, like how you can be sure that you're going down a path that leads to making a sound and good decision. Not every good decision will work out exactly as you plan, but the good decisions and bad decisions will definitely sidetrack your life.
Yes, sir.
What do you have on decision making as a leader?
So when you're making a decision, I appreciate what you said about good decision, bad decision. Good decisions come from you having trial and error. You're not going to always have the right answer. Be prepared that you're not going to always have the right answer. Be ready to ask questions. You are not the guru of life. You are one of the mechanisms in a company. If you don't know, admit you don't know. Admit you don't know, and ask questions. My whole career and everything I do right before on my way home, I was on a call about my third book when it comes out, that with a publisher, and I told her that I'm always thinking about questions. I ask a question: what don't I know about the subject? Or let's say I'll use for instance, there's always a fire when you're at work. There's always a fire. In leadership, there's a fire everywhere. I limited the fires that came to me. Yeah. So I empowered my leadership teams. So as I grew in companies, I understood that what I didn't have when I was in that previous role. And I made sure I created that for my teams. So I gave them empowerment. We went through trainings like leadership of deception by Ambringer. That is a book that I give every single team that I've had over the last 25 years. I've read the book 30 times. Make your bed. Make your bed. I've read the book is a 1-hour read. I've read it 200 times. Marcia Brown, Stone Soup. I read it the first time when I was in first grade. These are leadership books that don't even look like leadership books, but they teach you how to work together. Right. These are things that leadership teams don't have. And this is why people are burned out and they're sick of the job and they're sick of the upper management giving them directions without solutions, because you can't cope with it. Right. You don't understand the coping mechanism. So how you do it is making sure that you get the information and start setting yourself up for success. Don't wait for something external of you to control you.
Very good. Well, we have a question from, this is GD Pennington. He's a co-host on my morning show. He said, What was the nature of the fire that she was forged in? I'm not sure the gist of that question. The book is
That's
called Forged
that's
in Fire, what he's
uh,
alluding to. Is this your
I,
first book?
this is my first book, Forged in Fire. So Forged in Fire really talks about four aspects of issues that go on in your life, real painful issues that you have to get through. And the book itself is all about surviving life and understanding that on the other side of whatever problem, issue, um, tragedy that happened, you have survived it because you're on the other side. And that's why it says from ashes to empowerment, because we all have been through a fire to get to where we are today.
Very
The
cool.
empowerment piece is to understand that you have survived it. Now let's learn how to strive and thrive.
All right. Let me just ask you before we get too much
Yes.
further about the book. It's because on the cover it looks like a house fire going on. But were you involved in the? Because it also looks like there's like a UPS or DHS delivery truck out in front of the thing that's on fire. Is that significant in any way? It's just,
Every single component of the cover is significant. The house
okay.
fire, I'll give a little insight on the book. The house fire, I lost my best friend in a fire at 7 years old. She died
Ooh,
in the fire. I happened to be outside and saw everyone come out the house except her. So
ooh.
the truck that you see is actually gunfire. I lost my little brother 19 years ago, and he was killed. He was shot and killed. His children were 1 and 2 years old at the time.
Wow.
The what you see there is a phoenix being rising from the fire. So that's I speak in the book about those things, not as a point of pity, but as a point of we all can get through.
Wow.
After all of those things happen in my life, I'm still able to have the positivity and the energy that you see today.
Beautiful. I'm sorry those things happened to you, but
No, no, no,
I'm glad
no
you
worries.
found the strength to share your story for the benefit
Yes.
of others. So now, is the book a memoir or is it like a how-to? But explain to me the format of the book.
So it's great question. Great question, man. The book is a part memoir with empowerment. So every section of the book brings the story to an empowerment. It's not. I'll say this. It's not a tell-all book, guys. I don't do those. It doesn't make sense. What I did in the book is because the book, everything that I do is about cultivating individuals to find success in their lives. Everything that I do, the book, the course, my challenges, anything that I do, my radio show, everything is about waking up the person in you to find the success within your life. That's what's in the book, and that's what I do with everything in my life that way.
Wow. Now that's a very creative approach to writing a book like this. Well, did you work with a creative coach on this, or do you just that's just your natural style of getting your point across?
It's my natural style. So
Wow.
and the biggest thing is that as I talked about the story of having a conversation with those leads that day, this is how I tell the stories. I tell the stories to let them know I hear where you are. Like when you told me, Matt, that when you just said that you were in leadership and it sucked, I can relate because
You did
it
say that.
sucked. It
Yes.
sucked. I can relate with you because it sucked. It did. But
Yes.
to make it not suck so much, what did I do?
You basically told me how you deal with the burnout part of it, and the
Correct.
yes, I get it.
So that's the point of a story to me. To me, I don't think. I mean, this is just memoirs are good if you're trying to find out about someone's history.
Right.
Well, to me, a book should always grab an individual and deliver them to someplace better.
Oh, okay.
And that's what I believe. And I think that in my leadership career, that the people I touched in my career, that I grabbed wherever they were, I reminded them of who they wanted to be, so they could be the best version of them.
Beautiful. Now, let me ask you this, because in my intro for you, I said you're on a mission to guide people on a journey of self-development, helping them align with their passion and purpose. What I find from a lot of people I talk to, because somebody just back up, somebody called me about 2 months ago now, 6 weeks ago, asking for career advice, and I asked what the goals were, and couldn't explain what they wanted to do. The idea of purpose. What is the purpose that you're trying to fulfill here? Many
Yes.
people the problem is not how to fulfill their purpose or what they need to do to fulfill their purpose. Is what the hell is my purpose? That's the big question. Do you have anything on people who are just lost and feel purposeless?
So, man, I love your show. You got great questions. Great questions. I don't even have to think hard. I just answer questions. Love that. So the biggest thing is that this goes into my mythology. My mythology is called the CEO. Each individual, you, Matt, everyone who's listening, and myself are the CEOs of their life. We have to have clarity in our actions. We have to be empowered by our choices and own our directions. The first biggest thing is you have to be clear. You can't go anywhere if you're not clear on the way you're going. GPS. If I'm trying to go to somebody's house, I need to address where I'm going. So clarity is something big that I work with. And usually I ask a couple of questions. What is it that you want out of life? If they say, I don't know. If you don't know, how do you plan to get there? I don't know. So if you are asking for my help, I can't give you guidance if you don't even know where to begin.
Right.
So I advise them this. Sit down for 1 hour. Give yourself 1 hour. No cell phones, no computers, no email, no kids, no wife, no husband, no dog, no cat. Just you. Give yourself 1 hour and write down everything that you want out of life. Just start writing.
Yeah.
What is the one thing that you, and then once you're done with that, look at the list and find out that one thing out of there that you need to do to get those things.
All right.
Here's the
follow-up question to that, because some people are afraid to be honest with themselves. As you mentioned, it, writing down the list of things that you want to do, what you want to achieve, where you want to go. That the biggest reason they can't answer that is because fear or whatever, but they're not being honest with themselves and saying right out loud in a clear voice to themselves, or writing it down in clear language exactly what that goal is. And I'm not sure if that's a defense mechanism in case, set myself up. I don't want to have to kind of have it that defined, because if I don't make it, I'm scared I might not make it. Then I'll have to acknowledge that. So the idea of being honest with ourselves and expressing our goals in very clear and defined terms, I think that's the stumbling block. Is you can tell them to write down that list. Some of them will, and some of them, if they get to that far, we'll throw it out, because I don't want anybody to see this, because then they'll know now I'm committed to those kind of ideas that I expressed for myself. So that self-honesty is a big element. Yes. in all this stuff.
And a lot of that, Matt, what you just said, deals with the 4 things that I talk about in my course: being self-care, self-discipline, self-aware, and self-esteem. And the reason why those are the 4 parts of my course, before we get to any goals, any management tools, that's the 4 things we deal with. Because 1, you're afraid. When you are afraid, fear is fake evidence appearing real. And people are afraid of success. Yeah. 2, you're going to fail. Prepare your mind. Failure is not a bad thing, because in life you're either winning or learning. Failure is an opportunity to learn so you can win again. But to do that, you have to be honest with you. And I got what you say, they don't want to be honest. Then the issue is building the self-esteem for you to be able to look yourself in a mirror and know that you're not the person today that can attain the life that you really want. We all say we want money. Oh, and the people who don't say it are afraid of. The Bible said, "Don't want money." That's not what it says. Right. It says the root of all evil is if it goes to you saying that you're idolizing money. If you're idolizing money, that makes it the root of all evil. Or my parents didn't have money, so they didn't teach me about money. Okay. That's a truism in life, but you as a person have opportunity to learn on your own. The second that we give over ownership to things external of us, and as opposed to taking internal ownership, like Jocko says in full ownership. You know what I'm saying? I'm an avid reader. I read a whole lot. Jocko Wilkes, get the book, guys. It's a gut punch. I would say listen to the book. Don't even get the book, because him speaking it is even better.
Yeah.
But I say this: if you don't, it's the hardest thing is for you to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The world doesn't matter if you can't believe you. If you don't know, if you don't want to stand up for you. That's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
When you stand up for you, it allows you to shift into thinking of you. You can't have self-care if you don't believe you, if you don't trust you, if you don't know when you're burned out. When you're not aware of the things that you've been hearing in your mind from when you were a kid, when you were a teenager, when you were an adult in the workforce, where people said you weren't good enough, you didn't have enough, you don't know enough, you didn't do enough, you're not smart enough. If those are the things that you're internalizing on an everyday basis, they're going to keep you where you are. You
Right.
have to combat those things. However, the first thing is that you got to love the first person that you always have to love, you.
Wow.
If you start with loving you, you can start a path. But as long as you're loving the idea of life as opposed to living your life, these things are constantly continually happening.
Yeah. You know what? For me personally, I'm finding moments where I feel truly happy lately, and I don't even know how to define. I have defined it. I've used the word bliss. There are moments of bliss, but for the most part, I'm living in dread and fear. and that's where a lot of the burnout comes from too. A lot of the world events, current events, news, the world going on around me just is so depressing sometimes, and I am losing faith in humanity a lot now. Even I see glimmers of hope in people doing good things for good reasons, best intentions, and all that. But I see so much evil in the world that it kills me. It kills my soul. And then, like I said, there are moments of bliss where I just feel like, you know what? If you can find peace in the world, and be happy with who you are for that moment, it's okay. But I don't have a lot of ambition at this point. I'm old, and so you kind of lose your I don't have like big
But you
dreams
look good to be old in your mind.
You did? Well, thank you, but I'm old. But that's beside the point. I mean, but I am finding that I am taking more time than I ever had in my life to just appreciate life and be happy in it for as long as I can get it to last. But it comes in short spurts. Anyway, the idea of finding purpose, because there are so many people who just can't connect to any purpose. Like, why was I even born? What am I supposed to do? And if they're in a cubicle or something like that, that definitely helps them feel like meaningless in life. Like, this can't be my purpose, to be sitting here working for a company in a cubicle by myself, away from people. I mean, even as a leader, you have those people under you, but you don't see them, and they kind of disconnected, and that makes people feel lost and purposeless. So anything on that, on finding your purpose?
So I'm going to ask a follow-up question before I answer, if that's okay with you, Matt.
Yeah,
now, Matt,
sure.
I got a question. Now, so considering that you said you find glimmers of hope.
Yes.
How much TV are you taking? How much news are you watching?
I don't own a television. I gotta admit, I'm on social media a lot because I'm promoting all this stuff, and I see a lot of politics. I see a lot of news, but it's not like television fed news. It's more like people I follow, but it's still it's still there. A lot.
So I appreciate that. Now let me tell you what's on my timeline. I have not seen one thing about the news, not one.
Wow.
Now
that would make me feel blissful. Honestly,
it's funny that you say it, Matt, but let me tell you my why. Now you were talking about the glimmers of hope of humanity.
Yeah.
Today, on my radio show, I had two guests that are giving back to the community. My show a couple of weeks ago, I had guests that are doing free programs to bring jobs into the community. A couple of months ago, I was part of an event where we were talking about bringing things into the communities. Now, I want to say this part. Now, a friend of mine was trying to have a conversation with me about the news. I stopped. If you have a solution, tell me. Otherwise, don't.
Oh,
Now, after that, she hasn't told me anything else about the news. Now, I have a news outlet that I choose to watch that doesn't that I use like PBS, because PBS usually they're not giving opinions of this person, that person, they're just telling the news. So I look at a half an hour of that on my Saturday, because I only watch TV one day a week. It's usually because I like UFC. I'm a UFC fan, so I watch UFC on Saturdays. Thank my son for giving me a package that I can see every fight. But so I watch UFC on Saturdays, and I watch a little news clip so I can make sure I understand what's going on in the world. Very brief, because so the reason why I said that is I surround myself with people who are helping humanity, who are helping grow. So the reason why I have so much hope is because that's all I surround myself with.
right.
So my social media feed, even though I'm promoting all the time, I'm promoting my books. I'm promoting my movement. I'm promoting my courses. I'm promoting people who have something going on in life and who are looking to help individuals. I'm promoting this gentleman. He just bought he owns a franchise for basketball, where he owns his own association where he has 4 teams. And we talked about that. I promote those things. So, but on my news feed, the second I see something about the news, I don't watch it, which means that my news feed automatically knows I don't want to see it. They won't play it again. So when people talk about do you see the naked people? I've not seen a naked person, a dancing person, none of that stuff. I haven't seen any of it because I don't partake.
Yeah. I was talking about that with GD just this morning about how, because he says his wife is able to just walk away from stuff. I got to learn to do that. I know that because I don't. I often know something is going to put me in a bad state of mind, and I absorb it anyway. He has another question for you here. He says, "What if one knows what they want to do, like the price? What if one knows what they want, but do not like the price they have to pay? Do you help them find a different path?" That's a good question. So
I love that question.
Knows their purpose.
I will say this: the price that you always have to pay is putting in work. I can't give you an easier way to do it. Yeah. But financial, sometimes a financial investment might not be your first step. So it might just be that you need an investment of getting the positive information. Maybe you just need a step-by-step of things that'll help you, and having accountability partners to hold you accountable to what you say. Yeah. Until you get used to trusting you, because when you need accountability partners, because you can't trust you, or sometimes you just need somebody to bounce ideas off of. That's great as well. But taking people's ideas as their thoughts, not yours.
Yeah. I'll give you an example of a price that I was not willing to pay because I was conflicted early in my life, in my 20s, performing in a band and wanting to be on tour with the band and wanting to experience that life. And I really, really wanted that. But at the same time, all my friends were getting married, and I decided I also wanted to be married. And that meant you got to choose between one or the other. And that's a price I was not willing to pay, was to give up the marriage to go on or be single when all my friends were getting married and all that. Everybody settled down, having the made up happiness that their parents modeled for them, whatever that was. But I wasn't willing to pay that price at that time in my life. And you just have to that comes down to, again, being very clear about what you want to do and what's most important to you. And sometimes you got to decide whether, if it's not worth the price, then you're settling for the other thing. You're settling for plan B, right? That's basically what it comes down to. Yeah.
I like what you said, but if you were thinking that the band was what you wanted to do, so I'm not here telling people not to get married. I want to say that the views that I say,
no, but somebody should have said that to me though. I'll tell you why. Because I was in the church, and my brother asked me, what was on my mind. I said, I'm not ready for this, and he was talking me into it. He should have said, okay, if you're not ready for this, then it's not for you. That's what he said. But I know most people say that, and they're thinking, well, you're just talking. No, I really meant it in that moment. This is not what I really should be doing. So it's difficult to know when to give people that advice. So you don't want to tell people don't get married if they really should get married. But in
Yeah,
my
I
case,
mean, if love, it goes to this. It's funny. The show that I did today, we were talking about love and being okay being single, because sometimes people are not okay being with themselves,
yeah,
and
yes,
and that is a hard thing when you're not okay being alone.
right,
Because it also has you, when you're not okay being alone, you get into relationships with people that are not the best individual for you, just
right.
so you're not alone. And I'm a firm believer in, you have to, one more, that goes back to what I said before. When you love you, you can make better decisions for you.
Yeah, see,
But you,
that's definitely a problem with me. I don't love me. I mean, listen, obviously, self-preservation. If it comes down to surviving, I'm not gonna. But I don't have a lot of self-esteem. I have a lot of self-loathing. I mean, I'm just being honest. That's
I
one of
mean,
the issues with me,
but
without a doubt.
that's okay. That's how you feel, man. I mean, that's how you feel. You feel that you right now, you're down on all the things that you haven't done right.
Yeah.
But how would we talk? Let's talk about what have you done right. Pick two things that you've done right.
Oh boy, you're gonna put me on the spot. Two things
Two
I've done right.
things.
Well, I was an effective senior management person for a couple of companies, and took them from being deep in the red to being in the black, and being successful companies. Those are things I did right. I mean, if I look at my personal life, my first marriage was a failure, mostly on me, like 90% on me, and my
Uh,
second marriage has been a little rocky, and most of the problems have been because of me. I'm a loathful guy. I'm a musician. I'm an artist, and I'm very selfish in being immature. I'm bare my soul here. In being immature, not wanting to grow up, and holding on to the Peter Pan mentality that I've had my entire life. So that's where my lack of self-esteem comes to.
but I have a
Comes
question.
from.
Do you like being Peter Pan?
You know what? That's where I've come to these moments of just acceptance. This is who I am. This is the life I chose for myself. I can't complain, because I whether I deliberately mapped it out and designed it, or subconsciously brought myself here. This is the life I deserve, because this is the life I made for myself. If that makes
But
any sense.
but but it makes perfect sense. But do you like being Peter Pan?
I kind of, yes, I enjoyed the ride. Of course, everything comes with, there are good times and bad times, but for the most
Well,
part, I enjoyed the ride.
so right now, if you enjoyed the ride, that was a good thing for you.
Yes, yes,
So that's the part we have to own. That regardless that it might not have been a good thing for your marriage, it was a good thing for you. So
yeah,
sometimes we have to love what we're doing, and then find that love that loves me for me,
yeah, yeah.
and it's
And
okay for that.
there's a happy ending to the story. My first
Yeah.
my ex-wife, she had a great life after we got divorced. She had a great life. She just retired, and she's had a great life. So it worked out best for both of us. There's no doubt about it. But
And there it is. So I heard some other good. So you had fun being Peter Pan, which
yeah,
I'll tell you this. I still am a kid at heart to this day. I do very serious things a whole lot with a twist of being whimsical at times.
yeah,
So for me, it allows me still to be as happy as I want to be. So if that made you happy, because when you talked about being Peter Pan, you smile.
I know.
And if that smile is on your face, man, that means that was your happy place.
Yeah,
So whenever whenever those hard times come, if you take you back there, you're gonna always smile, because that's the point where you were happiest.
yes. Let's somebody's dropping in
Good.
to support. Hello from Breaking the Silence podcast, Nikki. Hello, Nikki. Thank you for stopping in to support. Appreciate it. Now you mentioned courses. What are the courses? Because I know about the book, but tell me about your courses. Are they online courses? Are they local to where you are? And I don't even know where you are, but
I'm in the Chicagoland area, guys. That's where I am. It is not right now. It's 94 degrees at 7:45 at night. But we were having a very warm summer here in Chicago. My course is actually online, so it has three components to it. It has an on-demand portion where we talk about where it goes over videos, because we are adults. So as adult learners, a lot of conversation makes you sleepy. It's just life.
Yeah.
So it's videos that take you through step by steps along with a workbook. Then every week we do weekly group mentorship where we talk about the things in the course and talk about things that you want to talk about in a group. In a group setting, it gives you an opportunity to learn about other things that will possibly help you in your journey. Then in that same course, you get a one-on-one monthly where we talk about your specific goals, go through a game plan together to set you up for success. So the course is a 12-month course, and it can all this can be found on www.sayiampossible.com. That's where you can find the course.
Sayiampossible.com. I'm going to put
Say I am possible. That's
okay.
right. Because impossible doesn't exist, Matt. Because just right now, because you said you're old.
You know what? I'm so stupid. I didn't even realize you were just spelling impossible, because I am possible.
That's right.
I didn't make the connection there. That's how dumb I am.
That's no right. That doesn't make you dumb. That just means that you 1 and 1 didn't equal 2 right there. That's all right. We got to 2 and now we both are aware.
Okay, fine. Now is the book available in audio?
It's not available in audio yet. I am currently working on putting it in audio, and this is actually book 1. Book 2 has actually come out since. So the second book is called #Poverty to Six Figures, and #Poverty 6 Figures actually does exactly what it says. Takes us from the poverty mindset, because poverty is not about money. Poverty is really about how to poverty keeps you where you are stuck. So the second book is called Poverty to Six Figures, and this is the second book, and it just came out June 15th.
I did not know. Without, I guess I didn't see the cover. I would have had it. I'm sorry about that.
No worries. No worries at all. Because Forged in Fire is the book where it's about taking the emotional you to get you prepared for a portion of you that can grow. Great. Because while you're trying to grow in your career, you have to not be burned out. That's why the Forged in Fire is first, because this is the part that teaches you about the self-love, the self-care, the self-discipline, the things that need to build you so you can be able to handle being a leader. Because leaders get burned out and get tired of their jobs, get tired of the people, because they're not just dealing with the things with themselves.
All right, I appreciate you being here. Now we're out of time, but a couple of things I forgot to ask you about the course. How long is the course? Is it like a month? Is it 6 weeks? What's the length on the course? So
the course is actually a year course.
Wow.
It's a whole year. I spent a whole year. You can drop off anytime within that time frame if you like. I advise people that you want to make lasting change in your life, stick around.
Okay.
Stick around so we can grow.
Wow. Very good. So now the last question is just silly, because in your intro, I said Rachel L. Gary. The L stands for leadership. Not really. What's the L stand for?
The L is actually my great grandmother's name, and it's Levan. But in all honesty, my nickname, you guys are hearing it here right here on Mindidog, is Legend. So my nickname is Legend, and so I've been going by Legend for quite some time. There's a lot of people who don't even know my real name is Rachel L. Gary.
Wow. Very cool. Well, thank you for being here. You've added some
Thank you for having me. Thank you guys for the great questions. And I do have a little thing that I say at the end, if that's okay, Mad Dog.
Yeah. Yes.
Ready? Yeah. So CEOs, I want you guys to stay focused on being the best version of you. And if no one ever tells you that success isn't yours, then possible doesn't exist. The word says I'm possible. And be up, out, and moving to the greatness we all know lies within who? You.
Love your energy and passion. Please don't ever stop being that way. It's
never going to stop.
Have a great night. Bye for now.
You as well.
Rachel L. Gary, folks, man, you got to love that passion. You got to love all that energy. Great stuff there. Tomorrow morning, we don't have a guest on the morning show, but what am I calling it? I'm calling it's about the 4th of July, even though it's the 3rd of July tomorrow. We're going to be talking about what's really going on, because I have shows to do where I have to do patriotic music, and I'm not feeling it right now. I'm just not feeling it. I have 4 shows to do on the 4th of July. 4 shows in one day, and got to fill it up with patriotic music, and I'm not feeling it. And this is the worst conflicted I've ever felt about music. Is going to do gigs where I'm really not feeling the music I'm going to be playing. So we'll probably talk about that. I'll bitch about that tomorrow morning on the program. Go get the book. Go get the book. The Amazon link there, or go to sayiampossible.com. Have a great night, and don't forget to turn on your radio. Bye for now.
I me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now.